It's the Creative Boom podcast. I'm Katie Cowan. Diving straight into episode 64 with our next guest, Niki Groom. Also known as Miss Magpie Spy, she's an award-winning fashion, beauty and lifestyle illustrator based in the UK. Her work is colourful, hand-drawn and feminine, and over the years she's been commissioned by many international brands, creating artwork for ad campaigns, window displays, editorial pieces, live events and much more. Before her venture into illustration, Niki was a fashion designer for 15 years, something she says helps her enormously in her career today, as she has a unique understanding of colour, fabric and print. I met Niki in London last month to hear more about her creative journey. Our conversation threw up loads of helpful advice on freelancing, marketing and surviving as a professional illustrator. But first, I'd like to thank Capture One, our sponsor for Season 3. One of the most powerful photo editing softwares out there, Capture One creates world-class tools that keep your photography ahead of the game. With powerful editing features, unmatched colour handling, and the industry's fastest tethered shooting, it offers the ultimate seamless workflow for creatives, both in and out of the studio. Use the code CreativeBoom to get a 10% discount on Capture One and start taking your photography to the next level. Now, here's my chat with Niki. Here I am in London again, and it's wonderful and exciting because I'm getting to meet a very dear old friend. I mean, funny enough, we haven't actually met until now in person, but we've been friends on social media for many years, something that's been very kind to us with our respective businesses. Hello, Niki.
Hello.
Oh, I can't believe we're doing this. It feels so exciting and lovely, and we've just had lunch downstairs and put the world to rights and enjoying our salads and a few chips. Very naughty.
Lunch of champions.
Absolutely. So what finds you here today in London?
I am here for an exhibition later on. I'm here for a fashion illustration exhibition. And I kind of let you know I was going to be here, and then we finally managed to catch up.
Oh, I just love it. You know, the normality of meeting up with people and running around London like, you know, the good old days.
Yeah.
But you kind of, you know, for anybody who doesn't know you, I mean, how could they not? You've been doing freelance illustration for the last 15 years, but also live illustration, various other things going on, and lots of sort of art on the side as well, lots of meaningful causes. But before all that, you were working as a fashion designer for 15 years.
Yeah, so I trained in fashion design. I was always kind of unsure about what I was going to do. At one point, I was really interested in doing African studies and social anthropology.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was fashion design. And I constantly, when I ended up doing fashion degree, my dissertation was on fashion and charities. I've always had this kind of thing of wanting to do something useful and interesting, but also just having a real love for fashion and textiles and colour and aesthetics.
Yeah.
And it's always been a bit of a push and pull with those things of just loving beautiful things, but not wanting to be useless.
Yeah, and that former kind of career took you around the world, didn't it? You sort of ended up living in India for a while. Yeah,
I designed for various like high street brands. I was at Monsoon for quite a long time, and I, in my first job, went to India a fair amount, and then I became kind of an expert in certain areas in designing out of India. So yeah, I lived in Delhi for a while, and I've probably been about 50 times. At one point, I'd go kind of 4 or 5 times a year. And then with a more recent job, I'd go for longer periods of time. So I'd go for like 3 weeks and then come back again. And I loved it. I really miss it. So I do, I mean, obviously we all miss the travel at the moment. But yes, it is something that I do miss. Probably the only thing I miss from being a fashion designer, to be honest now.
Right, okay.
Now I've carved a kind of new life for myself.
Yeah, were you still sort of working in the fashion industry a little with your illustration, but you've completely changed to that kind of different creative field? I mean, what was the kind of turning point? How did that happen?
I think in the end, when I look back, it's always been the creative side that I've loved, and I've always loved drawing. It's just that illustration wasn't, when I was at university, fashion illustration especially, it wasn't a job. There wasn't enough work in it. Yeah. So I did the degree in fashion design. So I then went into into that afterwards. But I did go to Australia. I went traveling before, did the typical kind of left university and went
backpack.
Yeah, I mean, I worked for a bit first. I worked. I did a graduate program at Arcadia and worked at Evans, and then I went off traveling. And then, I met somebody on a bus who looked at my who was like, "Oh, what's in your portfolio?" And I was like,
how random.
I know, it's very random. And then, she looked at it and she said, "Oh, I really like your style of work." And it was design work, but she's like, "I really like your drawing. You should go and see my friend. She works at a magazine."
Oh, gosh.
And it was really mental. So her friend ended up being the editor of Vogue in Australia. So I went as a backpacker in with this little like A4 portfolio of my degree work. And they commissioned me. So my first ever commission was Vogue Australia.
Wow.
And then I ended up doing a couple of actually really cool things when I was in Australia backpacking. I remember being in Cairns and working on like this table in a hostel, and then something being then sent back to Harper's in Sydney.
Gosh.
So anyway, that was in the year 2000, 2001. And I was like, oh, I don't need to do fashion design. I'm going to do this illustration thing. When I got back to the UK, I could not break into it at all.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I wasn't cool. I felt like I wasn't cool enough. I remember dropping my portfolio at Vogue, and then you'd get perhaps even a letter or maybe an email saying, okay, ready to collect it. And that was it. And so I went into design. So I was in design for years and used to, I mean, as a fashion designer, you do real kind of tech packs. So they're just black outlines of garments with stitches where the slips are, all the measurements and everything. But I'd always do this little illustration on the side of someone holding their coffee and the dress, like, this is what it should look like. It's like frustrated illustrator forever.
Yeah, because it is quite samey, isn't it? Sometimes in fashion illustration, the angular sort of lines, the tall sort of slim white figures.
I mean, I really used to play into that. I didn't even really realise how much so until a certain point when I was like, hang on a minute.
Something not right here.
Absolutely no diversity in fashion illustration.
Yeah, I think we're all blind to it, aren't we? And then
and I was young and white. I wasn't necessarily slim, but I was always young and white, and that's what fashion was. And it's a real kind of awakening of like, what the hell?
It's weird, isn't it? How we just sort of accept some things and just play along with it until.
Well, I guess also I was able to. I fitted in. I could. I didn't have to sort of push against anything to be accepted being in the fashion industry. So.
I mean, just from my point of view, I went to an event a couple of years ago before the pandemic, and I was sat next to these two lovely ladies in Manchester, and they turned to me and said, it's very male dominated in here. And I sort of said, oh, is it? And looked around and realised we were the only women. And then the next time I turned to look and talk to these women, they'd got up and left. And I think that was kind of a moment where I sort of started to really, even at the age I was already 40. Oh, there's something quite strange here. I've never really kind of considered it before. Where have I been?
But also, to probably like bend yourself into, change, if you shaped yourself, to fit into.
To get a place at the table, as they say. But it's just one of those things, isn't it? And actually, no, that's a lazy remark, Katie Cowan. It's not just one of those things. And actually, things are changing. And your illustrations are, part of that change. You're very kind of, your approach is very diverse. It's not something that I'm very, I'm used to seeing in other kind of, drawings, and I hope it sort of catches on. I mean, is it catching on, or are the people sort of doing more to change?
It's difficult. I mean, I there is that thing of this kind of work being really tokenistic, and someone has said that to me about my work, and I do appreciate that for some people they feel like it's ticking a box. It doesn't come from that place. I mean, it's come from I've always been like, as a designer, I wasn't ever the person who was brilliant at doing a really kind of quirky dress that would end up in Vogue, for example. I'd be the person who would design a dress that would really sell at Monsoon.
Yeah,
and it would sell
something for real women.
Yeah, for all women, they always went pretty large on the sizing. So I was good at that. And when I was designing, I was thinking of different women. I was thinking, okay, where should this come in? Where should this sleeve be? And I think of that when I'm doing fashion illustration as well.
It's nice to think of us as individuals, isn't it? And we're all so different, and they're so rich and diverse, and we all have different stories.
Yeah. And also just colour, because I absolutely love colour. And then, you're always aware when you're designing of what prints, when you're choosing, say like I've got a print and you've got it in 3 colourways, you'll be like, this one's great on white skin, this one is great on black skin. Awareness of skin colour as well. And so it does feed through that sort of thing of designing for mainly the UK, does feed through to my illustration.
Yeah, and it's beautiful work.
Oh, thank you. And I think it's why with with like Clinique, I've done a lot with Clinique, Accessorize, Molten Brown. Generally, it's not been a super tight brief from them. So they kind of know that I've got a good head for branding and also for understanding what is broad appeal.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. I love a brief that is, right, we want to sell a lot of these. We want this to be really popular. It's not like necessarily a niche thing that we just want to appeal to some people. We want this to be the thing that stops a lot of people in their tracks. I love that.
And I suppose you're very lucky in that a combination of hard work and experience, that you've got this kind of niche and that you've lived and breathed the fashion industry. I mean, 15 years, if you don't mind me saying, is a long time. We're very similar age, so I know I'm not offending you.
Oh, no, God.
And, so you've had that, you've got that foundation, you've probably worked across, buying and product selection and dealing with textiles and designing. I'm making loads of assumptions here, but you know how it works inside and out.
Also, we'd have these, Monday morning sales meetings, which are brutal. Yeah. It'd be really like going through the lines of an Excel spreadsheet going, okay, this isn't performing. And you would see the value of how much money is being lost from that not performing. How are we going to deal with it? Who designed it? And sometimes you are like, I really fought for that and it's not working.
It's so fast though. I suppose it has to be really cutthroat and quick decisions.
Yeah.
Come on, what next?
I think what it means is that I understand the meetings that people at brands that come to me, I understand what they will go through. So I'm pretty good at not taking criticism personally. I say that sometimes, obviously it's hard, but,
you're human.
But sometimes when they're like, we're not sure about this, I'm completely, just take the emotion out of it. I know what the pressure is for them. Often it's just to sell. So
just out of personal curiosity, because I'm sure people are listening to this and curious as well, what does sell well, like for women?
In terms of
terms of types of garment, colours.
It really. Put me on the spot
I bet
now.
striped tops do well.
Yeah, so those kind of things drive it. But I think with what I was quite good at, which I think transfers to the illustration thing, is I'm good at. I notice trends, but I don't jump on it at the beginning, and I know when it's going to turn. So something like, for example, when the change happened for skinny jeans, I probably could have called like, okay, now this is the season where everyone should put money into going for it mainstream.
Wow.
And the same with certain styles of dresses. I probably would be the good person to go, right, now is when the masses are going to do it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, florals always sell well. It depends on the brand. And that's the good thing, I guess, is that I'm quite good at getting my head around a brand and what they will sell. And so then when people come for me for illustration stuff, I'm pretty good at going, okay, Molten Brown, for example, is really different to what I've done for Clinique or Accessorize. I kind of know that that's not the right thing to present to them.
Yes.
And so it works.
Everything's bespoke and everything's tailored to the brand. And then you get to just have all this creative freedom. Yeah. But with all this experience behind you, it's just, you're living the dream.
And then in terms of illustration, it's honestly put a London scene behind anything and it sells really well.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Is that why Rimmel have sort of taken on that kind of catchphase? Get the London look.
Yeah.
You've got, iconic Kate Moss strolling around.
Yeah.
Is she still the face of Rimmel?
I think she is. Probably. I'm not sure. I'm saying that. I have no idea.
She's fabulous. I'll be very sad the day that she decides to hang up her, heels, or I hope she never does.
No, I don't think she will.
Because the fashion industry is has in the past been very ageist. It's all about youth and certain sizes. And do you feel like it's sort of changing in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of change.
Yeah. Some of the shows of just London Fashion Week just gone seem to really have
Yeah.
shown some change, but does it have any substance? Is it going to sort of, is it just a trend itself, or are they going to...
Some of it's a trend itself, but also I am now definitely not immersed in the fashion industry. I kind of love it for, like, I love the shows because I love textiles and colour and everything, but I'm not much of a shopper. I've never really bought much. I have things and I wear them forever. So yeah, I've sort of felt like a bit of a, I don't know, like I never was interested in designer handbags. I never would really care what was on trend. Like I say, a lot of my clothes are the same clothes. So I don't really keep on top of things because I never loved that about it anyway.
Wow.
So I have no idea.
it's a machine to keep us spending money, isn't it?
Exactly.
And,
I was really aware of that. When you're designing, you're really aware of it because you're like, okay, this top did really well this time last year. What are we going to do to replace it? And you would really talk about that customer, like, what is she going to buy this year? You would presume that she's going to buy more, and you would talk about her as if, at one point they named these different customers. Which was kind of hilarious.
That's great. Like customer profiles.
Yeah, there was Mrs. Whitby. My friends from Monsoon will laugh if they're listening to that. But there was a Mrs. Whitby who wore the kind of older, more classic, kind of old school Monsoon stuff. And we would always have to make sure we were catering for her.
Oh, lovely.
But yeah, there was never that sort of freedom of like, just go and design whatever.
No, it's got to work.
Yeah, and there's a lot of money behind it, a lot of money to be lost.
Absolutely. Monsoon's still doing really well. I mean, we've seen lots of high street casualties over the last 5 years. So, Monsoon, I think, is one of those kind of brands you used to go shopping with your mum, and they'd be able to get something and you'd be able to get something.
Yeah.
I think I was always getting stuff for my hair. But I'm the same as you. I don't tend to buy a lot of clothes. I'll just buy very boring classics. I'm kind of white T-shirts, black T-shirts in organic cottons, and then I'll just jazz it up with a nice necklace. So I feel... I feel like I'd like to sit here and virtue signal and say I do it because I don't believe in fast fashion. Obviously, I care about, the world and all the rest of it, and I love fashion. But I mainly do it because I can't keep up and I can't be bothered to see what's in fashion. So I think I might just get in touch with you next time and say, when do I stop wearing my ankle length jeans?
Yeah.
When a trainer's going to be out of fashion.
I don't know anymore. I mean, it's such a machine when you're in it. I mean, that's how my business name came about. So when I left Monsoon and I then was freelancing, and then I soon realised when you're not working for somebody, we used to travel a lot, and we'd have, there were WGSN, and we would have all the magazines. You just constantly know what was going on. And as soon as you stepped off, you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on anymore. So the idea of Miss Magpie Fashion Spy was a trend site. So I went to places like, I did actually do a couple of reports. I went to Premier Vision and Paris and did the shops, and then created this report. And the same with New York. Then these are the silhouettes, these are the colours, these are the prints, this is what people are wearing on the street of Manhattan, this is what's happening here. And then the idea was to sell these reports back to freelancers and also to small factories. So I knew a lot of factories in India that were really like desperate all the time for like newness. What should we be developing so that...
Where should we be concentrating our efforts next?
And they can't afford to send people around the world. And I was like, okay, this is a brilliant idea. I think it was a brilliant idea. And I got the website looking amazing, but I am not a salesperson. So I did like a seminar at some point in London, and I had lots of people come because I had loads of contacts. And I think someone afterwards was like, you didn't even mention how you were so non-salesy that people didn't really know how to buy everything. So it lasted for a while. And on the report were little illustrations because I was still a closet, drawer.
Yes.
And that's why I got stuck with the name, because all the social media was set up for that trend website. And so that's how then I became this weird Miss Magpie thing. And then I now turn up to events and people either call me Maggie or Miss Marple, Miss Moneypenny I've also had.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good grief.
I know. So yeah, I basically by accident from a failed business came to have this strange kind of illustration name.
Which is actually, and it's evolved as well a lot over the years because, I know I've known you on social media for a long time. I know that you and I share very kind of nice thing in common that we like to give other people support. And you still do that for your blog. I was just looking through some recent articles this morning, actually, and you just share other people's stories, interview them. It's wonderful. And then share lots of tips and advice to other people who are thinking about becoming a freelance illustrator.
Yeah.
Was it earlier this year that you divulged completely transparently how much you made from your shop last year compared to the year before? That is just so nice, because as a young illustrator, or any person who's at any age who's just switching to illustration, and they might be struggling a little bit, or not really getting going, or they might have been going for some years and thinking, gosh, I'm not making much money here or whatever. And they might look to people like you who are, so successful and have a great following, and it might be really intimidating, and they think, oh God. And then you just come out with this information that's normally quite kind of hidden in the creative industries. And it's just so kind of you, but also, very helpful to other people.
Yeah, I think I did it originally because Sarah Tasker had put something on, I think on Twitter, that she'd hit six figures with her business. And it was a really unusual thing for anyone to sort of admit where they were financially.
Yeah.
And we had a really kind of public Twitter conversation, because that year had been particularly bad for me. And I think because I live on my own and I don't have any dependents, it's only my business, and I can then share it. And I think it's so hard to know. So when I was designing clothes, I was on a good wage, and I was probably at a point where I was head of design when I left where I was, and I probably at this point now would be like director somewhere if I'd have stayed in it. I've got a good head for business. I probably could be in there, but I really don't want to be again, please. But then it was like, okay, I'm going to go into illustration. How much can I earn? I have no idea. And I just think, well, I can just share that. And then basically over the last few years, I've done some that Money Talks blog, where I ask the same questions to different people each time, as long as they're happy to be open with their finances from the last 5 years. And it's really good because it's a mixture of people that, will admit, okay, I've got a partner who earns well, and so that allows me to earn this much. Or then, okay, I had to do jobs on the side for so many years before I could go full time, that kind of thing. And I think going back 5 years is quite useful for people, because if you share a year, I mean, if you look at my years, they just jump all over the place.
Yeah, I know, it doesn't show a big picture, because it's always changing. There's all these outside things that happen.
And there's always this like presumption of growth as well. And sometimes, I think you probably saw the other day that I shared where I'm up to so far this year.
Yeah.
And actually this year is pretty bad.
Right.
But partly it's because last year I did really well selling my prints. Because I put so much effort into it because I needed to.
Yes.
And I realised actually rolling up prints and going to the post office every day, ideally long term I don't want to do it. So I on purpose focused more again on brands, which has taken some time to pick up. But so if you look at the finances, it's not as good. But I've done some really creative projects. The Sarah Everard visual illustration. So I've done things that I'm really proud of, and I've definitely moved on this year. If you just looked at it in a line of money, then it wouldn't look so good. But like for me, it's been really good. It's
not just about money though, is it? I mean, it's easy to say that for perhaps us, we don't have a lot of outgoings. Mortgage is probably the worst for me, but, we don't have children. We can sort of take a few more risks. We haven't got little dependents relying on us to keep bringing the money in.
Yeah.
So there's other elements of success. I think it's amazing that so many of us managed to keep going last year.
Yeah.
Just getting out of bed and facing the desk. Some people really loved it, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I actually just asked on Twitter yesterday, and it's been really amazing, the response. And I've been getting so many private messages on Twitter from people with their different stories. And I just simply said, has the pandemic changed your creative direction? Are you doing something completely different now? Are you sort of freelancing, or have you gone back into employment? And the stories are just very vast, because I was talking to a couple of people and they were saying how they feel like they're running off a cliff edge edge, like Roadrunner, and suspended in midair. And that's how it feels at the moment.
Oh, okay.
They just don't know how to approach the next kind of 6 months, let alone the next couple of years. And it's a positive thing because they're kind of rethinking about what they're going to do. And so I thought, right, I'm going to ask Twitter and see if anybody else feels like this.
Yeah.
And they did. And the response, my goodness. So have you, you started your business, and then a couple of years into that, the global recession happened of 2008. And now here we are with the pandemic. So you know how to graft, and you know how to survive these things.
I'm really reactive.
Yes.
I always kind of say, it sounds really ridiculous. I always say I'm a bit like water. I'm constantly reassessing. And sometimes when people kind of go, what's your strategy? I don't write things down, and I don't sit there and go, right, here is my plan. But there is obviously something ticking along in the background. Yeah. But I really do kind of morph and change.
Be like water.
Be like water. So yeah, I feel that. I don't think anything really, obviously things changed for me because 50% of my income is from live illustration, and I lost all of that.
Oh, gosh.
It completely went. And then I shared this in the blog as well. And then my brand work was half.
Wow.
And so, but then I managed to make my shop, I think it was I made 4 times as much money from my online shop than
Amazing.
I had previously. So I just moved it into there, but it was hard work.
Yeah.
But now I really want the brand work now. So that's where I'm. And
that's where your focus has switched to this year.
It has sort of switched, but also, but until recently, I'd worked always traditionally, but I bought an iPad at the beginning of the year. I invested,
wow.
And it did feel like an enormous amount of money to be spending when my income was low. But I've been teaching myself animation, and I absolutely love it.
Oh wow, okay.
And I think because I loved sort of fabric, and I love when I paint, I love big expressive stuff. I love movement in animation. So I've now, at the moment, they're only on my Instagram reels. I haven't sort of put a proper show reel together, but I'm absolutely loving it. So I think that's something to sort of move to at some point.
It's
maybe
what a lot of people are doing, that in about probably, I'd say 80% of the responses I've got, and I've had about 50 because people have just been bombarding me, which has been lovely. Many of them have said that they're learning motion animation and moving in that direction. In fact, somebody said that they've gone from graphic design to motion design, and they're earning 4 times more than they were as a graphic designer.
Oh, blimey.
So it's amazing how so much opportunity can come out of, a disaster.
Yeah.
I suppose we just have to, don't we? We can either sort of sit down and feel sorry for ourselves, or we can say, okay, right, what do we... I mean, by the way, there's nothing wrong with sitting down and feeling sorry for yourself, because that's, sometimes you do have to sit back.
Yes,
that's not what I'm saying. But you know what I mean? It's okay. Well, when the dust settles, what shall I kind of do next? And it's figuring out. Figuring out how to diversify and move forward.
I think as well, what the good thing from this year is that I can see the areas that would be good for me to move into, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
There's certain things, like I have tried to do the live illustration on an iPad, like scribing the meeting.
Oh, right.
Some people are doing extremely well in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't very good at it, and I didn't enjoy it.
Right, okay.
And so sometimes it is like, okay, I'm going to start on this animation thing, and I'm doing more like traditional. I started it traditionally without the iPad, and now I'm sort of doing that where I'm drawing sort of like 8 to 12 frames per second.
Wow.
Rather than it just be something that just moves a little bit. I love the sort of fluidity of it.
Oh.
But I don't really know if there's any work in it. But sometimes I just think there's something about like really going for something you're inspired.
Yeah.
Properly following inspiration. And then at some point, generally, then I'll work, right, okay, I think it's right for potentially this client. I'm going to send them to them and see what they think.
Amazing. And good things come out of creative passion.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're a bit stuck, I suppose the great way to start being unstuck is to just go back to the drawing board, literally, and just have fun and experiment and maybe try something that you haven't done before and then see where that leads, because great work can come out of that. And then somebody might spot it on a bus in Sydney or...
Yeah. I think the key for that for me is to... when I am sort of stuck, is like, right, don't share anything on Instagram. I really share a lot. Like I'm on stories quite a lot.
I know you are. I loved your Instagram.
But sometimes it becomes then, okay, I don't want to share this because I don't like it. And then I start to sort of critique my work as I'm going along. And I'm like, right, when I'm in that sort of mood, I'm not sharing anything. And I'll just work on things for a couple of weeks in my studio. And then I'll kind of go, look what I've been doing.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes that constant sharing can stop your, if people don't like it enough, you don't get enough traction from it. So yeah, if I feel a bit like that, then I'm like, right.
It's good to step away from social media now and again. And that's another thing that a lot of people are thinking of leaving, because there was a Guardian article talking about how Instagram had annoyed lots of people because it changed its algorithm and people are fed up with chasing likes and all the rest of it. But you've got nothing but positivity for the platform. You absolutely love it.
I really love it. I think from quite a long time ago, I wasn't a like chaser. When I got to close to 10K, I did kind of get a bit like, please, everybody in the whole world follow me. I want to get that swipe up link. But before that, because my grid is like a kind of jigsaw puzzle. It's less complicated now, but it used to be very complicated. I'd do it all on Photoshop and then chop it up and post 3 at a time. When you post 3 at a time, the algorithm just doesn't like you. So it's not going to. And I just look at Instagram as that grid is like a portfolio. So if someone is looking for an illustrator and someone's gone, they're looking for sort of watercolour stuff. If they recommend me, I want them to look at that grid and go, okay, we can get a grasp of her work.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
That is the main thing for me. I don't care how many people are liking anything.
Yeah.
And then my stories are sort of behind the scenes, and that's where I'll show that sort of stuff. So
I love all that. I wish I could do more behind the scenes stuff, but normally I'm just in my pajamas and my big pants. And
I am as well, but I just face it the other way.
Yeah. It's a bit boring when you're a writer and a journalist, because you're just, here I am typing. Yeah. This is how I type. This is how fast I can type.
Yeah.
There's actually a really good tool online where you can sort of test your words per minute. I didn't realise I'm so far behind. I think I'm only about 85 or something like that, which is not great, is it?
Sounds good to me.
Oh, I'm trying to write a book at the moment, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, you've inspired me. I'm going to sort of not share anything and I'm just going to work on it.
Okay, yeah. Then ta-da!
Ta-da! Here's my book. Maybe I'll get you to illustrate the cover.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, please.
Give me another year or two.
Yeah. Ooh.
Finding the time to do it is always difficult.
I'm sure.
I guess a lot of us, though, had more time last year to, take a step back and try out new things and see where we're going. I mean, it was forced upon many of us. How do you sort of, amongst work, find time to sort of do those kind of experimentation side things?
I think I found it actually harder last year because I lost my income and I wasn't supported by the furlough or any of that sort of thing. So I really was so focused on getting enough money to live, and I didn't go into debt. So I'm really proud of that. But it was like, when I work for, when I work on advertising campaigns and stuff, they're well paid, they're lucrative. Yeah. When you're selling prints for sort of £40 a print, and that isn't the profit margin, it's a lot of work to do. So I was just like, right, I just have to sell these prints, and then at some point, hopefully I'll come out of this okay. Yeah. I did do something, I think at one point I did reach a point where I was like, okay, these are doing well now. Now what do I do creatively? And what I would normally do is travel. Like if I get stuck, I normally go somewhere, and I couldn't. So I trawled eBay and started to collect these Victorian brooches.
Oh, beautiful.
They're amazing. They're from, sort of like turn of the century, and they were keepsake brooches, and you would put a photo or a locket of hair or something in the back of them. Wow. And so I collected a few of them, and I started to, I made these boxes that had illustrations in the back, and then I put kind of new contemporary illustrations in them. And then from my textile collection, which has been going for years, like scraps and bits of things from India, I made these sort of corsages that they sat on, and that was a proper passion project.
Oh wow!
And then I sold nearly all of them.
Good grief!
And it was such a nice thing of like, it's nothing really to do with anything I've done before. Don't know if it's going to work, but it was really lovely. So it's probably the only thing I really did last year that felt. I felt like I had less freedom last year. I think some people felt that they had more, but.
It actually had the opposite effect on you.
Yeah, I'm used to being, I spend a lot of time on my own anyway. And I'm used to having, jobs. I don't have long-term jobs. I have quick turnaround, short, small things.
Yeah.
And they just didn't come. So yeah, it was a bit different for me.
Tough. Whereas I just worked into the ground.
Yeah.
And got really burnt out. And, you know, I felt really guilty as well. I was like suffering major guilt that I was still working. And actually, you know, things were going pretty well for the both of us.
Yeah, I know people that were like that as well. And I think as well, especially as I'm so open when things go well, I also say it, but when they're not. And then I think, you know, some of my friends did brilliantly last year from, you know, diversifying into something that was really lucrative.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes there's a bit of, you know, people like, I don't sound like I'm showing off or anything, do I? And it's like, no, all credit to you.
No, absolutely.
Just done brilliantly. I really don't feel that towards people. If someone's done brilliantly, it's
me
like,
neither.
Brilliant.
I'm not a jealous person.
Yeah.
I don't understand the kind of, you know, don't shout about your success, it's showing off, or no, shout about it, especially if, you know, if you've worked really hard to get there and, you know, it's all down to you, you've completely bootstrapped yourself. I mean, what can't you not be proud of, you know?
And it also, you know, we were saying about it earlier, like often when people kind of, you know, they're not in the creative industries and they're like, my daughter wants to do art, but there's no jobs in it, are there? There's no money in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so misunderstood, the amount of money that there potentially is if you're doing well in sort of illustration, design. There is potentially a lot of money in it. There's so much that is designed, and a lot of people don't realise it. So I'm a bit like, you know, shout it out, and then more people will get involved in the creative sector.
We're taking a little break to thank our sponsor for season 3. Capture One is an award-winning photo editing software that delivers a seamless editing experience, fast workflows, and total creative control. Its unmatched colour processing for all major camera brands and industry-leading tethered support makes it the ultimate tool for creatives worldwide. Get a 10% discount on Capture One with the code CreativeBoom and start taking your photography to the next level. You can even try out the software for free with a 30-day trial to see just how it can elevate your editing. Now, back to Niki. Creative sector's always had a bit of a bashing though, hasn't it?
It's really annoying.
In the last couple of years, it's felt a bit frustrating, especially for freelancers last year when we realised we weren't going to get the support.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a freelancer now, but, you know, it was frustrating for the community that I try and support. Just seeing that they weren't going to get anything, or, you know, the kind of cuts to arts education.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing of that, encouraging these subjects to go, and you're like, where do you think we all came from?
I know. I mean, it's a huge industry now in the UK. I mean, when I started Creative Boom in 2009, it was, you know, a big deal. It was contributing quite a lot to the economy, but it's now really growing very fast. And you just think of all the, like, there's no job that I can't think of. There's no single job that I can think of that doesn't involve creativity.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's really strange.
It's frustrating.
But yeah, that's why things like Arts Emergency and there's other, you know, kind of charities and stuff, we have to get involved with them, because it's been, you know, we're lucky.
Yes.
We were sort of saying earlier, both got grants to go to university.
We were so lucky.
All that stuff's gone. And yeah, I just wouldn't have ended up at university.
No, we had so much opportunity, didn't we? We were very lucky.
Yeah.
A very good head start. You know, but it is what you do with it as well. I've known plenty of people who haven't, you know, made the most of those kind of chances, which is a shame, you know, for whatever happens to them in their life, you know. So do you get people sort of say, oh, do you draw then? Do you draw pretty pictures for a living then? Oh, that must be nice.
Yeah, I do get a bit of that. People thinking that I'm really lucky, that, you know, you haven't been like struck by lightning and you're suddenly able to, you know, create the right imagery for an advertising campaign. It's like there's so much that goes into it that people don't understand.
Yes.
They just see the drawing at the end of it. But, you know, obviously managing deadlines, getting roughs done quickly that, you know, a big meeting of people can understand. And all of the everything else, like the promotion. You know, social media, it does, like, I really enjoy it and it sort of comes easier, but it's really, like, I'm very aware of what I do and don't share. even though I am quite vocal, shall we say, on Twitter. Passionate on Twitter. I still don't...
Why shouldn't you be?
Yeah, but I'm still very aware of what I'm sharing and I'm not.
Sure.
And the same with Instagram, I'm careful about what I never show the front of my house, for example, or when I'm in my lounge, I never show... you can tell what my front door is from the inside. I just don't show any of that. Yeah. And if I'm with friends, I would never put them onto something. I've been at a wedding this weekend. I just don't.
I know it really annoys me because I'm the same, and I'll go on Instagram and there's all these people with all their friends and all their family, and they're all having an amazing time. And I'm 43. I don't need to have that reassurance, but it's like, damn, I was with about 20 people the other day. I could have made myself look really popular. We were all absolutely hammered. We were having a great time.
Oh God, I'm so the opposite. It's like, here's me and my cat. She is, I think, why people will follow my Instagram stories if I don't feature her for a while. So yeah, I'm total sad, like cat loser. Well, here's my best friend, my cat.
I don't think that's a sad thing at all. I will, eat up, gobble up cat content on Instagram every day, every second. Every day of the year. But yeah, it's frustrating. Maybe I'll change my Instagram bio. Don't share any fun with family and friends because I'm an advocate for privacy. I am extremely popular though.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Yeah.
Well, I've been having fun whilst I've been down here in London. It's the first time I've been in London for 2 years. It's nice to be back. You're popping in as well, just briefly to do a few things. It's just really nice to be back and normal, but it's also a little bit kind of, is nobody's wearing masks anymore? Oh, right, okay. This is quite interesting. It's a new world that a new dawn and a new day.
I'm still in the mask generally. And yesterday I was with my mum and I was kind of counting like, wait, it's only 30% of us on the tube with a mask on. And now we're on this line, it's 50% of us with a mask on. Yeah, I'm finding it quite strange. But it's so nice to just be, whilst the weather's like this, being able to walk the streets and look at the architecture and everything. I love it.
I love coming to London. I arrived here, which is quite amusing. I arrived here at the hotel on Tuesday and immediately was confronted with the best dressed people I'd ever seen in my life. One of the guy looked like he could be in a sort of punk band, and the girl was wearing this kind of balloon-shaped, beautifully cut dress. And I just texted my husband and went, oh God, I need to go shopping. I always come down from Manchester and come to London and feel a little bit kind of underdressed sometimes. And then I found out a couple of days later that actually the hotel was hosting a party for London Fashion Week. So I'm let off. Phew.
Yeah, but I do find, I find it, I kind of miss it. Like when I come into London, I am kind of amazed by what people wear. Oh, and it used to be really normal. I do love seeing that. In Bristol, generally, it's not so much like that.
It's a different crowd, isn't it? Different scene.
Yeah.
Love Bristol, but I think London's just got its own kind of edge. Do you ever watch those videos on YouTube where it's by this, I'll send you the link. She's great. She lives in New York and it's just a series of blogs where what I'm wearing, and she just goes up to people. You don't actually see her much. She just goes up with a camera and says, what are you wearing? So it's a little bit pretentious, but I do love it because they're all quite sort of interesting characters and they might have a story to tell.
No, I haven't seen it, but I would have done if I the weird thing about fashion design is that I kind of left just as the internet was, like Instagram and YouTube were taking over. So I think back when I stopped properly doing like trend-led stuff, it wasn't so, I think I'd be quite I don't know whether I'll be employable now, going back into it.
Yeah.
It might take me a while to work out how do they keep up with what's going on?
Well, it's changed so much,
it's so fast. When I first was in the industry, we used to have to wait for Collezione, which was basically a book of all the catwalks. You would have to wait for that to be like photographed, put together and sent out, and that would arrive, and that's how you would see the catwalks other than what you saw in the papers.
Good grief.
Yeah, and so now it's just instant.
It's not really that long ago either when we think about it.
No.
I mean, do you think you would have been able to build a successful illustration business had it not been for social media, the internet?
Oh no, because that is what got, so the first thing, so I had my Miss Magpie Instagram and Twitter, and at this point you couldn't share photos on Twitter. So the team at Grazia were at London Fashion Week, and I thought, oh, this is really cool. I'm seeing this London Fashion Week stuff really quickly.
Yeah.
So I think they shared it on Instagram. Oh, I can't really remember which way it happened. Anyway, I then did a quick illustration from their photo and sent it back to them. And it was such an unusual thing at that point that I ended up in the next week's Grazia.
Oh, wow.
And so they featured it then. So that was like a little highlight thing. And then it was after that Accessorize saw my work. And when I moved to Bristol, I did some illustrations of this is the harbour side, and this is another area with hot air balloons kind of thing, very kind of typical of Bristol. Mm-hmm. And they saw it on my Instagram. And at that point, I didn't have my name on there. And Accessorize and Monsoon are the same company.
Yeah.
So they contacted me, and I don't think they knew who I was. And they were like, oh my God, we've seen your work on Instagram. We absolutely love it.
Wow.
We want to do a worldwide campaign with your illustrations.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I'd been trying to show people my illustration work when I was there. And it was like, oh, you're really, you're good. No, basically. And then I just knew, oh my God, I'm going to turn up to this meeting. Everyone's going to kind of go, oh, hang on, you used to work here a few years ago. So I contacted Helen at Dutch Uncle, and she then, I just phoned her because I really liked that agency and was like, I have this work, I really need some help. Would you consider taking me on? It's like a consultancy basis. So then
Smart.
They came on board with me, and so then we went into the meeting. Helen led it, and negotiated the whole thing.
Oh, amazing.
So it was amazing. It's still my biggest job. I mean, it did go all the way around the world, and then things came, because it did well, then more came off of it, and ended up doing illustrations that went up all the walls of their flagship stores on Oxford Street.
I think I remember them.
Yeah.
It was so iconic.
It was, they've only come down recently, and they were in Manchester. There's certain areas where they were sort of permanent. So yeah, that all came from Instagram.
Good grief.
And yeah.
Have you still got the same agent?
No, and I didn't sign with them.
Okay.
I'm independent. I actually have reached a point now where I'd like one. Before I was like, I'm fine without one, but I feel like I get a lot of my work through Instagram, which means that I get it through a lot of PR and marketing, sort of PR departments where it's smaller work, and I would love some more campaign stuff. And I'd love to do some of these animations. I kind of need someone with some sort of strategy.
Yes.
So I would love, to
get an agent. Wow. Yeah, because somebody else dealing with all the kind of difficult stuff that illustrators have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that stuff. I actually.
Do you enjoy it?
I don't so much enjoy it, but I'm not bad at pricing now.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot from the AOI over the years. So I'm fine. I keep everything in writing. I'm not emotional when it comes to money. If I know what something's worth, that is the price. I'm pretty good at that stuff. So I don't need an agent for that stuff. But it is more, I'd love someone to sit down and go, right, this area, we think there's huge potential in this. Let's develop it. Yes, we love that there's a bit of movement in it. I feel like I'm at that kind of stage now where I wouldn't mind there being a bit of a team.
Yes.
It's like so many years of working on my own, it would be really nice.
It can get really lonely, can't it? You can't bash any ideas off someone, or, you'll undoubtedly have your online community of friends, I'm sure, Niki, and you can sort of, brainstorm things with people, but it's not quite the same, is it, when somebody's focused purely on you and the direction you want to go.
I quite like it if they know that if they push in the right direction, they'll do well out of it as well.
Yeah.
There is something then, friends often will just go, that's great. Oh yeah, that's a lovely idea. As I probably would with a friend if they were asking me. I mean, I would be honest, but sometimes you need someone to tell you something that perhaps is a bit harsh.
Yeah, you do.
Like this. And also sometimes you can't see it. Like I know with my work, there are some things that I really like, but they won't be popular. So it would be great for someone with completely fresh eyes who's used to this going, right, there's so much mileage in this.
It's the necessary process of commercialisation.
Yeah.
And it goes across the board. As creatives, we all have to face it.
Yeah.
We're not just doing something because we love it and it's, a passion and we're great at it, whatever. We have to make money.
Yeah. I see it's two things. Like I have my commercial side where I'm good at it for a certain, point. Like I say, I'd love someone to help me push that more. But then my art side, which I probably would never have called myself an artist until the last year. And then I have realised that there are certain things that I totally do for me, and it's very much on inspiration, and there's no end project. Like the Sarah Everard artwork that I did.
Beautiful.
I sourced all of those from social media, and it was very much on the day. You know, they cancelled the vigil, and I was like, okay, everyone can't be together for this, so I'll make a physical thing where we can all be together. And that's when people were sending messages in, and it came from that, and then it ended up on
being this beautiful
billboards.
thing.
Yeah.
And you got to do something meaningful and give back, and obviously something, you know, it's ridiculous for me to say this. Obviously it's something that we're all passionate about. You know, we want to feel safe. So it has been, I've had lots of, you know, that's the thing, when someone writes a really heartfelt message to you privately, then it's like, okay, this is really something. I mean, I don't think I had anything negative, and it's always hard with things like that, because you're like, I think if I'd had some sort of strategic thinking of like, ooh, I'm going to do an artwork based on this, but it was very much like, you know, we've all had various experience. Yeah, very much. And because I generally share whatever I'm doing anyway, that's how it got picked up, and it went pretty viral, and that's how I then crowdfunded the billboards. Oh, it's wonderful. And, you know, it kind of really hit home so many things that we've all experienced, not necessarily, you know, our generation. I can't believe that it still happens. I just can't believe it still happens. I remember walking back from, you know, various places in Preston late at night with keys in between my fingers. And, you know, and then you start talking to other women. Oh, yeah, I still do that, you know, across the road. And
I did it. So there's a bridge that on my way home that I really don't like going under. Yeah. And my massive billboard was there. And at night, one time at night. So that was there, and I had my keys. But I don't know, it was quite special to sort of see that and all of these messages. And I know some of the people that had sent the messages, or I remember who sent them, and it's like all these collective, it also almost feels like it's not my artwork. It's like loads of people's thoughts, and you know, it isn't one message, it's some of the things contradict each other that are in the artwork as well. So I really love that. I'd love to do I love doing more of that sort of reportage.
So more in future that we can expect from you, and with meaning behind it, and you know, causes that you're passionate about and involved in.
I think I've found that there's not going to be any sort of money in that area, but that also feels right. You know, it's not driven by a brand who want to show that they're supporting women.
Off and, exactly. It always feels a little bit vacuous, doesn't it?
I mean, I wouldn't obviously say no. Anybody, but generally I prefer to do, right, this is my commercial work, and then this is stuff that I'm passionate about, because also then I can step back and go, actually, I'm not really happy with that, or I'm not sure about that. You can also lead
it as well, can't you? Because if a brand did come to you and say, we want to do this thing, we want to do it for this cause, or we want to be more diverse, you know, we as creatives can sort of put our foot down and say, okay, that's a nice idea, but have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And could we donate a massive portion of to charity?
And so often with these things, I would not be the right person to do them. You know, there's also that to consider as well.
Yes, absolutely. Whether we can sort of push other people forward in our place occasionally.
And then I feel with the kind of refugee community work that I do, I am involved in it. It's not something that I go, I'm going to do a refugee thing today. It's like I'm involved in the kind of community in the UK. And then there are certain things, like with Refugee Women of Bristol, they have this, oh God, it's so gorgeous. They have this dance event every year as part of Refugee
do they?
Bristol Festival. And it's amazing. So like 100, maybe more women from all over the world, basically. And it'll be half an hour of dancing to music from Syria, half an hour from Sudan, half an hour. And it's just this crazy, there's no cameras allowed, no men allowed, just women and their little kids if they're not at school.
How cute.
And everyone just dancing and singing. It's so nice. And
joyous.
So I think I've been twice when it's been in the Malcolm X Centre in Bristol, and I've just illustrated, because then they've got visuals. So they can't take photos of these women, but they need visuals, and I just do non-recognisable visuals, and they're really useful for the charity. And then we did one on Zoom, and obviously in COVID, and then the BBC picked that up.
Oh, fab.
So it's great. So they ended up getting eyes on
national
what they do. Yeah,
publicity.
So it kind of wouldn't be right to be paid, the charity's tiny, who's going to kind of pay for it? So I would rather try and make the money from brand work and then be able to do that stuff.
Well, it's really nice as well because it goes back to that thing, isn't it? It's not just about money.
No.
You get to do something that, sets your soul on fire, I suppose, whilst giving back.
Though I do want to say that charities, I don't like it when I'm approached by charities, especially not big ones that have got budgets and the people are being paid to do that work. So, I for anybody listening, I don't think that you should just go and do lots of charity work at all.
Right.
These are things that are, like, I know these organisations, I know the people, I know this is useful and I really want to do it. And it's not this could get me something. It is,
of course,
I want to do it. But there are those things that I've considered doing in the past, and I've made mistakes of donating art to charity auctions, which now I'm very, very vocal about. Charity auctions, I'm really not a fan. I guess that's another thing, like things I've made mistakes at in the past, I'd rather talk about them so other people then think, with this whole charity art auction thing, like, oh, actually, should I really be donating something that's worth £300 that might sell for 40 in an auction? Is that the right thing to do? Or should a local company be commissioning an artist to create a work that's in an auction? So, those things that I think there's a lot of pressure on younger or newer people to the industry. This is what we've all done. Like, doesn't mean you have to do it.
Yeah, brilliant. So I suppose you've worked for yourself for 15 years, and you were in the fashion industry 15 years before that. So that's, is that right?
No, I went full-time freelance illustration at 39, so 6 years ago.
Right.
But I did illustration kind of on the side of being a designer.
Right.
So, yeah.
Interesting. So it wasn't an immediate transition.
No.
It was hard work and graft and building up the contacts and networking and until you were able to do it full time.
Yeah, the big accessorized job was when I was designing. So that was I think that was the thing that made me go, okay, I can actually do this now.
Great.
But there were small things before then that were like, ooh, this could be good. But it took time.
Yeah, it does take time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people look at people like you who have got the success now and they think, oh, well, that happened to them quite easily. That was an overnight thing, but they don't really kind of see the backstory or the highs and the lows, and a lot of lows, I can imagine, just trying to sort of, think of my own experience of growing businesses and this and that, and it's invisible to people, isn't it? They don't realise what you have to go through to get to where you are.
Although I do tend to share it.
Yes,
because I also
do.
I did a stationery brand as part of it as well, which again, not a failure, but definitely not a success. But yeah, I do try and be open about that stuff because I think it's healthy too, right?
Definitely. And it does give other people, healthy reassurance that, it's okay to try things out. And if they don't work out, I mean, I wouldn't call it failure. I think there's lessons in everything, isn't there?
Definitely. There's a reason why I am where I am at the moment, and it's from trying those things.
Absolutely. It's an experimentation. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. You just try it. And I think some people just get paralysed by the fear of being a failure, and then they don't do it, and then they never know whether it would have worked. So that's a shame. So what have you learned about yourself then the most out of these sort of recent times, and what are you going to sort of be doing more of moving forward? I guess I'm assessing a little bit of the areas that I'm working in. I mean, I obviously love the fashion and beauty areas, but I have just recently done something for a research company for a financial report, and I really loved it. Right.
I kind of love getting my head around a different type of business, and so I worked with an agency then, and they were putting this report together, and it was great. So I sort of did these statistic illustrations for them, and then put together a little animated GIF at the end.
Oh my goodness!
So it's great. So I actually really enjoyed that, and I've just won a grant from the council. It was for people that sort of slipped through all the gaps. It was a creative freelancer grant. And so I'm going to do a mail out. So I'm doing this, hopefully, beautiful printed envelope with almost like a sort of a newsletter about this is what I've done before, this is what I'd like to do, that I'm sending out. I think I'm sending out a couple of hundred out.
Oh, gosh.
So that's the next step. So I feel at the moment like I don't really know what's going to happen next, but but it's going to be interesting. That's how I feel.
That's the way it should be. That's the beauty of what we do. We just don't know what's around the corner or what's happening next. And surely that's creativity summed up, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to yourself looking back? Because it's a very reflective time, isn't it? What advice would you give to younger Niki? Just the kind of the wisdom that you carry with you now.
I don't know, because do you know what? I think I don't have any kind of regrets about the way that I got here. I think the things that stick out for me are the people that that sort of made an effort with me when I was new. So even in design, when I was doing my dissertation, I contacted Karen Franklin from the Clothes Show.
Wow.
And she invited me to her house. So I went to her house.
You went to her house?
To interview her. And I'm from a family, there's no one in the fashion industry. It was just like, I have no idea how I'll get into it. She went into her house. And then she said, you should speak to my friend Helen Story, because I was looking at fashion and charity and sustainability a long time ago. So it's in 99.
Wow.
And she said, you should speak to Helen Story. And that it just stood out so much that these women who didn't know me at all were just willing, from me sending a letter through the post, they were willing to be open and helpful. And I think, so I probably no advice to my younger self, but it's more lessons that I've learned of like being open and passing it on a bit is good. Oh gosh, yeah, very healthy. Yeah, and keep yourself open to opportunities. Yeah, definitely. And then actually, illustration, I found it so friendly. A lot of people I still haven't met, but there's certain people, especially on Twitter, they are like cheerleaders. They're constantly. You do something, they go, great work, Niki. And they're lovely. It's so nice. It's so nice. They break your heart, some people. Yeah, it's so kind of people. And I think that stuff is, it's just lovely. So I'm sort of pleased to be in an industry that I find friendly. I hope it is friendly. It is friendly. Yeah. It is. I think it's all about perception. Some people hate Twitter because of some of the things that go on in there, but I've just seen nothing but love and kindness and, lots of support from people. And that's the kind of world I want to be in anyway. So I make it that way. Yeah. I avoid the snarky stuff. I get very, very sort of, knee deep in other things, news stuff. But within the industry, I find it really great. Well, thank you so much for meeting me here today. It's been great fun. And I can't wait to see what kind of different creative avenues you go down next. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Oh, thanks for having me here. See you soon. You can find all the information on Niki Groom in our show notes at creativeboom.com/podcast. That's where you can also subscribe and tune in for fresh episodes every Monday morning. Thanks again to our sponsor, Capture One. Nestled in Copenhagen, Denmark, it creates world-class tools for editing, organising and working with photos. Want to test the software? Simply use the code CreativeBoom for 10% off or sign up for a 30-day free trial. Next up, I'll be chatting with Timothy Goodman, a designer, illustrator, muralist and author based in New York.